The history of sound, from ancient echoes to modern melody. Sound, one of the most profound phenomena of our world, has been a constant companion to humanity since the dawn of time. From the rustling leaves in a prehistoric forest to the complex symphonies that fill modern concert halls, sound has always been a vital part of the human experience. But where did it all begin? How did the journey from the first recognizable sounds to today's advanced audio technologies unfold? Let's explore the fascinating history of sound, from its earliest recognition to the innovations that have shaped our understanding and use of it today. The first sounds, nature's orchestra. The earliest sounds on Earth were undoubtedly the sounds of nature. Before human beings walked the Earth, the planet was already alive with the sounds of wind, rain, thunder, and the calls of animals. Scientists believe that sound existed on Earth more than 3.5 billion years ago, long before the appearance of humans. The first creatures to perceive sound were aquatic animals, whose bodies could detect vibrations in the water. This ability was crucial for their survival, helping them find food, avoid predators, and communicate with one another. As life evolved, terrestrial animals developed ears to hear sounds through the air. The early human ancestors, too, relied on sound for survival. Hearing the growl of a predator or the crackling of a fire could mean the difference between life and death. Thus, sound was an essential tool in the evolutionary journey of living organisms. The dawn of human perception, recognizing sound. Humans have always been deeply connected to sound. The earliest humans, living in caves and primitive shelters, used their voices not just for survival, but also for expression. They mimicked the sounds of nature around them: birdsong, the rush of water, and the crack of thunder. These sounds were the first songs ever sung, the first attempts at music making. Approximately 40,000 years ago, the first intentional music appeared in human history. Archaeologists have discovered flutes made from bird bones and mammoth ivory in what is now Germany. These simple instruments, with their carved holes, represent humanity's first attempts to create and control sound. The early humans blew into these flutes, creating notes that likely mimicked the calls of birds or the howls of wolves, and these sounds marked the beginning of organized music. The first musical instruments, creating sound. The creation of the first musical instruments was a revolutionary moment in human history. The discovery of bone flutes in Europe, dating back to the Paleolithic era, shows that early humans had a desire not just to hear sounds, but to make them. These flutes, made from hollow bones, are the earliest known musical instruments. They were simple but effective, and they allowed humans to create melodies, rhythms, and harmonies. Drums, too, were among the earliest instruments. Made from hollowed-out logs or animal skins stretched over a frame, drums provided a powerful rhythm that could be used in rituals, dances, and ceremonies. The use of drums in communal gatherings created a sense of unity and shared purpose, allowing early humans to connect on a deeper emotional level. The first recorded music, ancient civilizations and sound. As civilizations began to form, so did the complexity of music and sound. The ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Mesopotamians all made significant contributions to the development of musical instruments and theory. The Egyptians, for instance, used harps, flutes, and lyres in their religious ceremonies, while the Greeks developed a complex system of musical notation and tuning. Music was considered a divine gift, and sound was believed to have healing and spiritual properties. In Mesopotamia, The first written music was recorded on clay tablets over 4,000 years ago. These tablets contain hymns and songs dedicated to the gods, with instructions on how to play them on the lyre. This marked the beginning of written music and the preservation of sound through notation. The invention of musical scales, organizing sound. The Greeks were the first to develop musical scales, a system to organize and structure sound. Pythagoras, a Greek philosopher and mathematician, discovered the mathematical ratios that created harmonious sounds, leading to the development of musical scales. This understanding of harmony and rhythm laid the groundwork for future musical compositions. The Greeks also believed that music had the power to influence human emotions and behavior, an idea that became the foundation for the concept of music therapy thousands of years later. This philosophical approach to music and sound would influence Western music for centuries. Medieval music and the Church, preserving sound. During the medieval period, music and sound were primarily preserved and transmitted through the Church. Gregorian chant, a form of plainchant, became the dominant musical form in Christian worship. Monks and priests chanted these melodies in Latin, and their repetitive, calming nature was thought to bring worshippers closer to the divine. The invention of musical notation around the 9th century by a Benedictine monk named Guido of Arezzo revolutionized the way music was recorded and shared. His system used a staff with lines and spaces to represent different pitches, which allowed for more complex compositions and the preservation of music across generations. This was a crucial step in the development of Western music. The Renaissance and Baroque era, sound takes center stage. The Renaissance period, 14th to 17th centuries, saw a revival of art, culture, and music. Composers like Josquin des Prez and Claudio Monteverdi experimented with polyphony, the combination of multiple independent melodies, creating rich and complex pieces of music. The invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg in the 15th century made it possible to print sheet music, spreading musical ideas across Europe. The Baroque era, 1600–1750, brought further innovations, such as the development of new instruments like the harpsichord and the violin. Composers like Johann Sebastian Bach and Antonio Vivaldi expanded the boundaries of music, creating compositions that explored new emotional depths and technical possibilities. Music became a form of artistic expression and storytelling, reflecting the human experience. The first audio recording, capturing sound. The invention of the phonograph by Thomas Edison in 1877 marked a turning point in the history of sound. For the first time, sound could be recorded and played back. Edison's phonograph used a cylinder covered with tinfoil and a needle that etched sound waves into the foil as it was rotated. The sound was then played back by running a needle over the grooves. This invention changed the world. No longer was sound something that existed only in the moment. It could now be captured, preserved, and shared. Music could be recorded and sold. Speeches could be saved for posterity, and people could hear the voices of those who were far away. The phonograph laid the groundwork for the audio industry and the way we experience sound today. The gramophone and the rise of recorded music. In 1887, Emil Berliner invented the gramophone, which used flat discs instead of cylinders to record sound. These discs, known as records, were easier to produce, store, and transport, making recorded music more accessible to the public. The gramophone became a household item, and soon, people all over the world were listening to music in their homes. The gramophone also gave birth to the music industry. Record labels began to emerge, and artists could reach audiences they had never dreamed of. The popularity of recorded music continued to grow, and by the 1920s, the gramophone was a staple in most homes. The evolution of audio technology, from radio to tape recorders. The 20th century saw rapid advancements in audio technology. The invention of the radio in the early 1900s allowed sound to be broadcast over long distances, reaching millions of people simultaneously. Radio became a primary source of entertainment, news, and information, transforming society and culture. In the 1940s, magnetic tape recording was invented, providing a new way to capture and edit sound. Tape recorders allowed for higher fidelity and the ability to splice together different pieces of audio, leading to new creative possibilities in music and radio production. The birth of digital sound, CDs, and the digital revolution. The introduction of the compact disc, CD, in the 1980s marked the beginning of the digital age of sound. CDs offered higher sound quality and durability compared to vinyl records and cassettes. They quickly became the preferred format for music, and by the 1990s, the CD industry was booming. Digital sound technology continued to evolve with the development of the MP3 format, which allowed music to be compressed into smaller files without significant loss of quality. This innovation revolutionized the music industry, making it possible to store and share large amounts of music digitally. The rise of the internet and file-sharing platforms in the early 2000s further changed the way people accessed and consumed music. Modern sound technology, streaming and beyond. Today, the way we experience sound has transformed yet again with the advent of streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. These platforms offer instant access to millions of songs, podcasts, and audiobooks, allowing people to discover and enjoy content from anywhere in the world. High-resolution audio and lossless formats have become the new standards for audiophiles, delivering sound quality closer than ever to the original recording. Innovations like smart speakers, virtual reality, and spatial audio technology are shaping the future of sound. Spatial audio creates a three-dimensional sound experience, immersing the listener in a world where sound comes from all directions. This technology is already being used in gaming, cinema, and music, and it promises to redefine how we interact with sound. From the earliest natural sounds to the sophisticated digital technologies of today, the journey of sound has been long and transformative. It has evolved from a survival tool for early humans to a profound medium of artistic expression, communication, and connection. The history of sound is a testament to humanity's endless curiosity and creativity. And as technology continues to advance, there is no doubt that the future will bring even more exciting developments in the world of sound.